So, as bad as everyone feels, and they have felt since November 8th, I know for me, I've been in a severe depression, although I'd like to say, today after your show, I'm going to get a Bob Mueller tattoo.
Oh, that's exciting.
And she's the prostitute. And who is he? He's the moral arbiter of 20-year-old behavior now, right? So then I said, some facts that I just went on Wiki, and that he notoriously cheats private contractors out of their money.
Yes, and that is all
Simple
pretty well
facts,
documented. Yeah.
Simple facts.
And so you said this on The View.
And he went bat crazy.
Yeah.
Remember when Trump called Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig and a loser during a presidential debate? Well, the feud that just won't die has exploded again, and this time Trump's reaction is so over the top, it's actually confirming what Rosie said about his marriage. I've been following their back and forth drama for years, and let me tell you, I've never seen him this rattled. His all-caps rant makes his usual temper tantrums look calm by comparison. Even his loyal supporters are looking at each other like, should we be worried about this one? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. What makes a former president completely lose his cool over a comedian? Trump's latest meltdown is so over the top that even his die-hard fans are wondering if he's okay. Last week, Trump went on an all-caps rampage on Truth Social that seemed to come out of nowhere. But this wasn't just some random outburst. It's actually the latest chapter in a 17-year obsession with Rosie O'Donnell. While most ex-presidents worry about their legacy or global issues, Trump somehow finds time to obsess over a comedian.
And also sort of this worldwide phenomenon, to see it in such a small place must have been
the
amazing.
public has done amazing things. Like the chorus line started there. And
it's been really, we've sort of made the joke on the show that he's flip-flopped on everything except you.
it's actually very true. There was a Tara O'Connor, I believe her name was, a young Irish lass who was Junior Miss Trump Atlantic City pageant sexist winner.
It's like he's got a special Rosie alarm that goes off whenever she mentions his name. The whole thing started way back in 2006 when Rosie called Trump out on The View. She mocked his business failures and questioned why a guy with multiple marriages was acting like some kind of moral compass for the Miss USA pageant. Trump's been bringing up Rosie unprompted ever since, like that famous moment during the 2015 presidential debate. When Megyn Kelly confronted him about calling women fat pigs and disgusting animals, Trump immediately jumped in with, "Only Rosie O'Donnell." The audience laughed, but it showed how Rosie lives rent-free in his head. The weird thing is how specific Trump gets with his Rosie insults. He's called her fat, a slob, a real loser, and much worse. It's like he's got a special insult folder just for her. But when you look closer, these attacks reveal more about Trump's own insecurities than anything about Rosie. Even stranger is how Trump can handle major international crises with apparent calm, but completely melts down when Rosie makes a joke about his marriages.
That were easily accessible since this campaign began. That he is bankrupt 4 times, that he got all his money from his father. So, as bad as everyone feels, and they have felt since November 8th, I know for me, I've been in a severe depression, although I'd like to say, today after your show, I'm going to get a Bob Mueller tattoo.
Oh, that's exciting.
Do you see I'm a little edgy?
Yeah.
I spend pretty much 90% of my waking hours tweeting hatred towards this administration.
Yeah, well,
During his presidency, he could discuss nuclear tensions with North Korea without blinking, but a Rosie O'Donnell comment sends him into a rage spiral. So what exactly did Rosie say this time that made Trump explode worse than ever? Whatever it was, his nuclear-level reaction actually confirms exactly what Rosie was pointing out. He's incredibly sensitive about his failed marriages and desperately needs to be seen as some kind of moral authority. His nuclear-level reaction wasn't just about hurt feelings, it was about Rosie pulling the pin on a comedy grenade that exposed the gap between Trump's family values preaching and his 3-marriage reality. During her recent appearance, Rosie O'Donnell didn't just tell jokes, she performed a surgical strike on Trump's carefully constructed image. He's the moral authority, left the first wife, had an affair, left the second wife, had an affair, had kids both times, but he's the moral compass, she quipped, methodically dismantling his family man facade. while the audience roared with approval. What makes this particular roast so devastating isn't just the content, it's Rosie's technique. She simply held up a mirror to Trump's actual life choices, turning his own history into punchlines. By calling him a bankrupt snake oil salesman, she highlighted how his business failures match his personal life contradictions.
Donald Trump has been mad at you for a very long time.
Over a decade. Seth.
Over a decade.
Yes. And that he notoriously cheats private contractors out of their money.
Yes, and that is all
Simple
pretty well
facts,
documented. Yeah.
Simple facts.
And so you said this on The View.
And he went bat crazy.
Yeah.
And he said, just want you to know, I've forgiven her. And this young woman, I'm like, what is he, the pimp?
It's like she found his self-image kryptonite and decided to make a necklace out of it. The timeline Rosie laid out was brutally simple. Marriage to Ivana, affair, new marriage to Marla, another affair, then Melania. But the real comedy nuclear bomb was how she connected these personal choices to his political persona. Here's a guy positioning himself as America's moral backbone while leaving a trail of broken marriages that would make a divorce lawyer blush. The hypocrisy is so thick you could spread it on toast. The audience didn't just laugh, they gave standing ovations. Within hours, clips of Rosie's takedown spread across social media like wildfire. Nothing hurts Trump more than being laughed at, and suddenly, the whole internet was joining the party. Even worse for poor Donald, other celebrities piled on after Rosie broke the ice. Madonna tweeted, "Mess with my girl Rosie and you're messing with me. Cruelty never made anyone a winner. Rebel hearts forever," showing that when it comes to Rosie, she's got backup. Trump wasn't just getting roasted. He was getting roasted in front of the cool kids' table, and they were all pointing and laughing. The reason this particular comedy assault made Trump completely lose it is simple.
And she's the prostitute. And who is he? He's the moral arbiter of 20-year-old behavior now, right? So then I said, some facts that I just went on Wiki.
And did it sort of start? It started from The View, yes?
The View.
Yeah.
Like under 500 for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, it's maybe the size of this. What is this, 200 here?
Yeah, this is about 200.
Yeah, so it's almost maybe this size. That's pretty much it.
Wow, that's amazing. If Trump gets indicted, it would be really great if Mueller let you serve the papers. I feel like...
Rosie exposed the contradiction that he can't explain away. How can someone preach family values while collecting ex-wives like trading cards? It's not just hypocrisy, it's a fundamental crack in the foundation of his political identity. What we're witnessing isn't just some petty celebrity squabble, it's a psychological case study playing out in real time. Trump's inability to shrug off Rosie's comments reveals something deeper than just anger. His constant need for media attention combined with his thin skin creates the perfect storm whenever she speaks up. The guy literally can't help himself. When criticized about his personal life, especially his marriages, he goes straight to the playground insults instead of addressing the substance. It's like watching a toddler having a tantrum in a designer suit. This whole saga matters because it exposes how a man who once held the nuclear codes can be completely undone by a comedian pointing out the obvious. Rosie found Trump's kryptonite, the gap between his self-image and reality. And she's been poking at it for almost 2 decades. And every time he erupts, he just proves her point. Talk about a self-own.